What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Nice gloomy day today, raining still, so pretty much why it's pretty dark in here, even though it's about 12 in the afternoon right now as I'm doing this video. But let's get on to some stuff. So I did want to do a quick movie review of a big time movie I saw recently. Even though it came out during the summer, I barely got around finally to watching it. Is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the newish Quentin Tarantino movie with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie. I don't want to go into like a full detailed spoiler thing because of people who might have not seen it or care to see it, but I thought it was pretty great. Not one of Quentin Tarantino's best films, I don't think. I did enjoy most of the movie. I don't mind like a lot of the long driving shots of Hollywood that people are complaining about, but I do think that if they even took out Margot Robbie's Sharon Tate character, then it really wouldn't have changed the story at all, because I was more into the Leonardo DiCaprio Brad Pitt story anyways, and that turned out, especially like the last 15-20 minutes, probably like the best part of the whole entire movie, and definitely a lot less violent type of a Quentin Tarantino movie, except for that 15-20 minutes, which is awesome. I had no problem with it, even though I'm pretty sure women's activists and rights will have issues with it. But really, if someone broke into your house, man or woman, you do the same exact thing really if they were trying to kill you, in my opinion. But overall, I thought it was a great movie. Maybe DiCaprio or Pitt will get an Oscar nomination. We'll see. Maybe Quentin Tarantino. We'll see. But yeah, I know the Oscar, especially for the men's side, there's like 10 to 15 guys that could probably get nominated for all the type of performances that came out this year, and you already know some people are going to get snubbed because it's only 5. But let's get on to this sports stuff now. We'll change the page. So USC football, they were ranked in number 22, so they only moved up one spot really, or kind of stayed the same, so it's kind of really not making a difference for them, but we'll see what type of games they could play towards the end of the season. Then they're saying that the president and athletic director are looking to keep Coach Clay Helton, which I don't really mind, because I think he deserves a chance for being able to get as many wins as they have this year for how crappy and all the injuries they've suffered this year. So at least giving him one more shot and trying to play out this contract he has instead of having to pay him $20+ million with a couple years left on his deal. Probably better to keep him, I think. That's my opinion. Then Drew Richmond, a tackle for USC, was invited to the Shrine Bowl, which I never really heard of. The bowls that happen for upperclassmen after the season's over. I know the Senior Reese's Bowl that Michael Pittman Jr., the wide receiver, accepted the invitation to, but this one I never heard of, but I'm glad they're giving these guys more opportunities to play and show what they can do and hopefully get drafted. Then some Anaheim Ducks news. So they signed their first round pick of this last draft, Brandon Tracy, to an entry-level contract. Don't know exactly what that means, if he'll play automatically, but I doubt it. Probably start in their San Diego system and then move up eventually in a year or two. So hopefully it is a lot sooner than later for him. Then they also played the New York Islanders the other day and won 3-0. So congrats, at least somewhat of a victory to talk about for the Ducks. But some Chargers news. So I'm kind of happy about this move where they signed a ex-Texas and Cincinnati Bengal, Cleveland Brown linebacker, and Malik Jefferson. He was a guy who I wanted them to pick in the 2nd or 3rd round coming out a year or two ago, and I think he was selected in the 3rd round by Cincinnati. But even though how crappy Cincinnati is, they still let him go. He was on Cleveland, and Cleveland is just horrible at coaching up their players. So I'm glad the Chargers were able to sign him to the practice squad, and maybe he'll eventually make the team, because I think he's a pretty good, talented player. And then also Derwin James, the safety who's been out for quite a bit, he's going to come off IR this week, so possibility he might play this Sunday. I think they said the other safety who broke his arm earlier in the year, Adrian Phillips, has a better chance to play against the Broncos this Sunday. But at least they're getting some of those guys back, see what they could do. I would prefer them just to stay out so the Chargers could keep losing, because I think they'll actually help them out a lot. But yeah, that's just the way I see things. Then this thing going around that they're saying Phillip Rivers might want to sign with Tennessee if the Chargers don't decide to bring him back. I don't know. They should have traded him a while ago back then. I know when Marcus Mariota, the quarterback who's at Tennessee from Oregon, they were trying to trade him and Phillip Rivers, and they're like number 2 pick, so the Chargers could get Mariota. But I'm still kind of glad that didn't happen. But it just, more history comes that he's gonna head back to Tennessee. So I don't care. Go ahead. I don't really like you anyways, Rivers. But they did mention in that story right there that there's like some playoff scenarios, or they're trying to break down things to get the Chargers back into the playoffs. But please, I don't want them to make the playoffs this year. They're not going to do anything once they get to the playoffs. So please, I don't even want to read these scenarios. So yeah, no scenarios for them, please. And of course, the Duke Blue Devils, they suffered their first loss of the season against Stephen F. Austin. I believe it was 83-85 in overtime. Sucks because it was tied and Duke had a chance to score with like 11 seconds left, and then they turn over the ball, and then the team doesn't bother taking a timeout. They just decide to go run and get a layup as the time expired, and it just sucks because it was how that whole game looked at when I was looking at the highlights, was just bad defense, especially in the interior, because Duke gave up like 60 plus points in the like dunks or layups, and whether it's NBA or college, you're always going to lose that game no matter what. And it just shows that both their freshmen Matthew Hurt and Vernon Carey aren't living up to the type of hype that they've been saying that they were, like top 10 players overall coming out of high school and maybe becoming first round picks in the NBA draft next season. So I just think they're really struggling, and it could be coaching, but I think it's just the overhype of a lot of these type of players, and I would prefer that Duke kind of went more into getting grad transfers, kind of like how USC did this last offseason, instead of trying to go after a bunch of freshmen. But I think there's like 5 or 6 more freshmen coming in next year as well, who I think are a bit more talented than these guys, but still it's going to be a long time before Duke kind of gets back over this, I think. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Duke. But the Lakers, so they beat the Spurs 114-104. It's pretty close back and forth game going into the fourth quarter, and Lakers were down, but luckily LeBron stepped it up, and I believe he had 33 points around there. And yeah, they just look good overall, getting that W against a sneaky Spurs team who is struggling at the moment. But you gotta get these victories no matter who they're against, especially in the NBA when it comes to the playoff seeding. So I'm glad the Lakers got that win. I think that was like an 8-game win streak at that moment. And of course, got to see DeMar DeRozan for the Spurs, who used to go to USC. Of course, I want the Lakers to trade for him, because I think having that 3-headed monster of DeRozan, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis would be pretty awesome compared to what they have with Kuzma. But I don't know if the Spurs would make that trade anyways for a guy like Kuzma. But LeBron also, I don't know if it was after that game or during the Pelicans game where I think it was during the Pelicans where he's now part of the 33,000 point club in the NBA. So he joins, I believe, Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kobe Bryant. So only 4 guys in all of NBA history have done it, which is crazy. So congrats to him. But speaking of that game, yes, the Lakers did beat the Pelicans, and Anthony Davis's first return back to New Orleans after the trade, and of course the ex-Lakers playing against the Lakers now. The Lakers won that 114-110, which was cool. Once again, the Lakers were down by almost 20 points at one point in the first half, and luckily able to step it up. Of course, Anthony Davis, his elbow was hurting him, and some other type of little nicks of injuries were bothering him, but luckily he finished the game, got a key steal, a couple key free throws as well, so able to seal that win for him. He also had 41 points, Anthony Davis, and LeBron stepped up pretty good in that fourth quarter as well, getting 29. So glad they got the W. Go into this Thanksgiving weekend at least somewhat happy. We'll see what these other teams can do during the weekend. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a safe weekend out there. Happy Thanksgiving to all. And like I said, be safe with all that rain out there. I'm traveling a bit myself. So yes, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.